Hello?
Hi, is that Kimberly?
Yes.
Kimberly, I'm calling from the Avis Corporate Liaison Information Team, or CLIT. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm real good, thank you. Reason for the call is I was actually made aware of your file by my social media department. I understand you had reached out to them with a concern.
I have, yes. I understand that you guys are the parent company of Budget.
Correct, yes.
So our concern is we rented a Budget moving van to drive from Seattle to Washington, D.C. About halfway Sunday night, we hit a deer in South Dakota. It's myself and my sister-in-law, two women in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. And thankfully, the police here were fabulous and helped us out. But our frustration has been.
Was the deer okay?
No, the deer. I mean, we killed the deer. The truck is
people.
undrivable. Just a very traumatic experience for everybody. Probably more so for the deer, but but our issue has been today trying to work with the company that Budget partners with, FleetNet. Trying to get a replacement vehicle has been one of the worst, and I've worked in customer service my whole life, and this has been one of the worst experiences I have ever had. Zero communication unless I call them, and then they're telling us the soonest they can get a truck to us is, they called us at 3:04 today and said, we found you a replacement truck out of Nebraska. And we said, okay, great. When can they be here? And she goes, let me check. Oh, well, they closed at 3 p.m. So they'll head out first thing in the morning. Oh, they don't open until 10 a.m. So they won't even make it here to us until 3 p.m. tomorrow. We are trying to get to Washington, D.C. for my son's graduation from college with a moving van full of stuff for him to move into his first apartment. And I guess our frustration has just been the total lack of concern or urgency with the company but sorry, we're on a busy road. With the company that Budget partners with to handle this information, this type of.
Just please be careful if you're on the road while you're on the phone. I do have a bit of responsibility there. It'd obviously be sadly ironic if you were hit and killed by a car.
Right, that's what my sister-in-law.
That'd be terrible.
Saying, and it's just,
we'd all hate that.
Town right off the interstate in South Dakota.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why your social media team probably, I tweeted, just out of sheer frustration, out of a lack of urgency by the team. The only communication we had was every time I called and called and called, trying to get some help. And I don't know. It's just a very frustrating situation.
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize for everything. Obviously, it's not the experience that we want our customers to have here at corporate. What I'd like to do is I'd like to engage our corporate liaison information team action force and actually get somebody at corporate to kind of use their discrepancy to get things moving for you and get things resolved. Now, in order to do that, there is a couple of forms that I have to fill out here at corporate, and there are a few questions I do need to ask you concerning the incident and concerning the complaint in general. Some of them may not seem relevant, but it's a process, unfortunately, I have to do here at corporate. And again, please don't be, if there's any questions you don't feel comfortable answering or anything like that, please just say so.
I'm an open book.
Great. So, can I just confirm what time of day the accident with the deer happened?
Yeah, it happened at 10:30 p.m. last night, so Sunday night. And I believe we're Central Time here.
Okay. And approximately what location were you at when it happened?
We were on I-90 East, mile marker 268.
Okay.
And the immediate thing, we called 911, and then the very second thing we went to do, we got out our budget truck rental information and called the number on there that said to report an incident, open 24/7.
Yeah.
And we called them, and it said, our offices are now closed.
Yeah.
And so, that was our very first experience.
Well, they are open 24/7, but only during weekdays.
Yeah, it doesn't say that on the paperwork.
So anyway, let me just let's get through this form here. So,
Okay.
who was driving at the time?
My sister-in-law, Molly Waldron.
Okay, so your sister-in-law, and were you the only other person in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, make a note of that. Okay. And again, some of these questions, please don't be offended, but I have to ask them.
Yeah.
Had you and your sister-in-law been doing any drinking that day?
Nope.
Okay. How many units of alcohol do you typically consume in a week?
I don't know, a glass of wine a couple nights a week.
Okay, got you. Have either of you ever been arrested for a narcotics-related offense?
Nope.
Not in your entire life?
Nope.
Okay. Do either of you use marijuana either medically or recreationally?
Nope.
Okay. Have either of you suffered from any mental health or psychological issues in the last 20 years?
Nope.
No, nothing at all. Okay.
Nope.
And did the police perform a breathalyzer test on you when you called them?
Nope.
No breathalyzer. Oh gosh. Okay. So, in your own words, could you just tell me what was the reason that you were driving recklessly?
I don't believe we were driving recklessly.
Oh, right. But obviously you said you ran over a deer, right? You hit a deer. What was the reason that you just weren't kind of fully aware of your surroundings and that kind of thing?
We were driving down I-90, the interstate, and it jumped out right in front of us there was no time to react. It was not there, and then it was. It was South Dakota. It's even a no-fault state when you hit a deer because it's such a frequent occurrence.
Right. Okay.
We were driving in the slow lane. We were going 10 miles under the speed limit, and it like I said, it wasn't there, and then it was.
Okay.
No, there wasn't even time to brake. It's not like we saw it up ahead of us.
Okay.
It was so instant.
Was the deer killed instantly?
Yes. We believe so. We went back. My sister-in-law and the officer went back to make sure, or to check on it, and it was gone. It was.
So when the incident initially occurred, though, which method of CPR did you attempt on the deer?
We did not attempt CPR on the deer.
Oh. Okay. Can I ask why not?
On a deer?
Yes, ma'am. It's I'm just checking, and it is actually a state regulation there. You should have attempted basic CPR.
It was dead.
Did you call an ambulance for it?
A deer, like an animal.
Right. Yeah. Did you call a veterinarian or an emergency ambulance service? I'm sorry, again, I did mention some of these questions may not seem relevant, but we do have to get through them.
No, we called the police.
Right.
We called 911, and we trusted that the state of South Dakota would contact the appropriate parties.
Well, here's the thing. Let me get on to it, because we have had issues with this before. So you said that somebody did absolutely make sure the deer was deceased. Is that right?
The officer, yes.
The officer did. Did he finish it off with a gun or anything like that? I need to just make a note of that here.
No, it was dead.
So, I mean, as you left the scene, though, did you yourself, see the body? Because
no, my sister-in-law did.
The reason I ask, you have to be really careful about this, because we've had a couple of incidents before where, there's... Obviously, we need to make a note of this for insurance purposes, but there is obviously the contingency of the fact that the deer might return exactly a year later, hell-bent on revenge.
Is this a joke phone call?
No, of course not, ma'am. It's just, you'd be surprised at the things we have to deal with. We obviously have millions of customers, and this is something that has come up before. I don't know if they did a whole movie series about it. I know what you did last summer. And it turns out it's a real thing. It was based on a real thing. Anyway, never mind. As long as you're certain that the officer checked, you should be okay from that. But that is just something we need to be aware of for liability issues. Okay. Now, did they give you an...
I'm sorry. I don't believe that this is accurate phone call. I mean, I don't believe that...
I'm sorry?
I don't believe that you represent who you say you do.
Well, of course I do, ma'am. I'm just, as I said, some of the things on the form may not seem relevant, but it's a process we do need to go through.
No, I don't believe that.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'll be contacting the other offices.
Would you like to speak to my supervisor? Would that help? I'm sorry if I've maybe got off on the wrong foot there.
You're telling me, you're sitting here, you're telling me that can't believe what you did last summer is based on a true story of a revenge deer.
That's what I am told, ma'am. It wasn't obviously not something I've had personal experience of, but it's just a process we have to go through on the forms.
Can you give me your name?
Yeah, absolutely. My first name is Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Last name is Cochran. I mean, if you'd like, you're very welcome to speak to a supervisor if you would like to.
And who are you with?
Well, ma'am, I've already explained who I'm with and everything. We were halfway through doing this paperwork. I mean, if you'd like to call back, you're very, very welcome to do so, or I can transfer you through to one of my managers. It's entirely up to you.
I would love to be transferred to one of your managers, please.
Okay, if you could just hold for one moment, I will get somebody right on the phone. Thank you.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold.
Good evening. This is Michael. How can I help you?
Hi. I was just talking with, I believe, one of your employees about an incident.
Yeah, I've got some notes here. I mean, they passed along. All I've got here is what their social media department, and it looks like he had started our questionnaire with you, and he transferred you over here. He's halfway through it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem legitimate. Like the questions he was asking and the statements he was making to me just didn't seem legitimate. Like
we get this a lot, just because a lot of people think I guess we actually get this. Does it have to do with this specific question, or is it like the fact that we had to actually model this over that movie? that I don't, I know you did listen.
He started talking about some movie and asking if I did CPR on the deer. Like, I'm sorry.
That's one of the questions. I mean, honestly, a lot of the questions may seem odd, but once we get through all the questions, then we can start to basically handle the case and start dealing with some, like if we've got some refunds or rebates or so on and so forth, things like that.
I guess I'm curious why you guys are contacting me. What the purpose of your department contacting me is?
It has a lot to do with social media. So what happens is we have a social media department that kind of watches for anyone that calls, like uses the Avis name or makes a report about Avis in some way. And then we like to follow up to make sure that either it's a legitimate report, because obviously there are a lot of people on social media that kind of, it's a lot of it's disinformation, right? So it's to confirm that the information is real and correct and genuine. And then we like to make sure we understand what led to that. So what led to that tweet or that post, so that we can basically, if it was a negative post or something with concern, we can at least try to fix that relationship, or get our reputation fixed with you or anyone that you may have spoken to.
And to get that relationship fixed, you're asking me if I performed CPR on a deer and told me that a deer may seek revenge because it happened in a movie.
It's part of the movie plot. And again, it may not make sense, but once we have that paperwork filled out, we can feed it to the AI system. Then we can basically forget about the rest of it. It basically spits out some basic answers, but then we can work on the rebates or whatever. If it's not a rebate, some people don't want rebates. They just want some explanation or something. I mean, we're willing to work with the customer, whatever it is that will, hopefully we can get on a better, back on track, so that you're one of our valued customers. I'm just trying to get a replacement
moving truck. I mean, I felt very attacked, and just to try to repair a relationship. These are the oddest questions I've ever experienced.
Well, and another thing, I mean, a thing about deers is they have we don't know what happens after death, obviously, and deers in life have a very good memory. And the fact is, if they carry that on, post-mortem, how do we know what's going to happen? Right? And we're not sure if anything's going to happen. At least we've got our side covered because we've documented it. We've got answers, and we don't have to go back to you later if we start getting some follow-up. Or, things start backlashing or anything like that. I mean, it's a serious issue.
Of deer taking revenge.
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure how involved you are with like that, the metaphysical or, the spiritual world, but some people do report various like post hauntings, and we can't discount that just on the fact that maybe they've got some kind of issue or whatever. I mean, these things happen, and especially like if you look at that movie, if we follow that plot, these questions make sense. They lead to a conclusion.
Sorry. I'll be contacting your company via a different phone number. I don't believe that this is a legitimate.
This is science, ma'am. We don't play around with we don't just make things up. This is about science. This is real, and we're trying to make this right. We care more about this. We understand that you need the vehicle, but I see here that we have already scheduled a vehicle to be with you, so there's not much more we can do on that front. So now it's about making sure that this deer or its family or whatever doesn't start causing backlash against us or you, because it was our truck, it was you that drove it. So we're looking out for you as well.
So
we're
when
really
do you
trying
show
to look
that
out
I
for you
have
and
a replacement vehicle coming?
Okay, so it looks like by 3 p.m., well, it could be if everything goes perfect, right? If everything goes perfect, we will be dispatching one in the morning, and it should get to you by 3.
And where is it being dispatched from?
Second. Looks like Nebraska. And it will be a little. It's the 19. The flatbed one, not the diesel one, but the gas one. It's it's a little bit smaller, but at least it'll get you where you're going.
What do you mean smaller?
It's the one that's basically the two. It's just the 2-axle rather than the longer one. That's all. So I understand that it's
a loaded moving truck. I mean,
I understand that, but you'll be able to like Tetris it out to get it in there. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we've had our guy look at it. It shouldn't be a problem. It's 12 foot.
Well, how
like
does
a
he know? He
minivan.
doesn't
Like
know
a
how
cargo
full
van.
my truck is.
We just assume it's full, right? And then if you like, I don't know how well of a organizer the people who put it in there, but when you have professionals do it, they can kind of Tetris that stuff in. They're really good. And it also, by doing that, if you hit bumps or hit deers, for example, the stuff isn't going to get ruined when you slam on the brakes, or it has to. There's no shifting. When you get it in there perfect, you can literally do have a 60 mile an hour to 0. Nothing in there is going to be really wrecked unless it actually impacts it, because the stuff's not going to move around in the vehicle. So it might even help you out.
Where from Nebraska do you show that it's coming?
I mean, I'm trying to look. It's not on this report. Hold on. Let me see if I can find out from the other guy. Hold on a second.
Hello, Ron Blackman. Hello.
All right. So do you have the original report, Ron, about the dispatching?
Oh,
because I don't have the dispatch report. All I have is a state here.
Yeah, they told me it should be there by 3 p.m. tomorrow when I booked it.
Does it show the city it's coming from, though, or which location? Because all I show here is Nebraska.
I believe it's Omaha. I believe it's coming from the. Did you explain that it's a different vehicle?
Yeah. Well, it's a different size. Yeah.
Yeah. So they told me to let you know it was only the 1 liter. It was they had to look. I spoke to that lady earlier. Let me. This is just between you and me. Don't go telling her this. But yeah, they're sending the little. It's the little electric thing. Basically, they told me to book something that if she was to hit a deer, it wouldn't hurt it. Basically. So this thing's not got enough power to knock over a deer. Like it's tiny. It's like the size. It's like a little milk float. It's like a little. Do you remember the old milk floats, the electric ones? They're kind of like a. It's kind of like a. Yeah. Alex is going to go drop that off tomorrow. He'll be there by 3, probably earlier.
Yeah, see if he can leave earlier, because I'm sure let's say he runs into traffic or he's late, she's going to flip out, man. She's already carrying it out on me. So if you can have him leave early, early as possible. It's
not a long journey, but on that particular truck, you have to basically quadruple the journey time. Whatever it says on the GPS, you're going to quadruple it.
The time?
Yeah, the time it takes. It's just, they're so slow. I think it's limited to 30 miles an hour.
Well, again,